Hey, everybody.
Hi. That's
Episode
that kind of day.
17, Thursday Exchange. Thank you guys for watching thus far. It's been a
hmm
wild week. Wild, wild week for us.
As you can see, we both look like we're hungover, and yet we're not partiers. So,
It it's been a long week. Let's just put it this way. The Catskill International Film Festival is truly whooping my ass. There's a lot to be done right now with films being accepted all over the world, downloading projects, putting them on timelines, scheduling, you name it. I know Stefan's got tons of gigs starting now. It's just,
yep. And like I'm doing a photo shoot this weekend. Plus, I'm working on some other stuff in the background right now. It's a little early to announce it, but on top of that, I'm just a little out of it because I had oral surgery yesterday, and I don't know if you noticed the shape of my face is a little off. So I was basically like a walking YouTube video yesterday. I'm glad nobody had a camera around me because it was a little embarrassing.
but we have a really awesome episode tonight. We're going to keep it
Hmm.
laid back. We're going to, chill. Okay. We have some,
Relaxing, shooting some b-ball outside the school. All right.
yeah, we have, what's the band, the band,
The band.
the band. We have a very good special guest tonight.
Wow, we're having a rough night. Oh my
Listen, this week
god.
was 420 and I don't even smoke. So,
It's the Rob Philbeck duo. Laurel Archer and her husband Rob are going to be coming on. They are going to talk to us about their band and a little bit about her teaching business. And yeah, it'll be a pretty laid back episode. But we do have some other topics that we do every week. Let's see.
yeah, this week's been really interesting. Everyone knows what's going on.
Derek Chauvin or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Douchebag.
Derek Chauvin is guilty on all counts, which that was a blessing for everyone. We didn't want any more.
Can you imagine if they had written not guilty, what would have happened?
It would have been, total hysteria, chaos in the streets.
It would have turned
Um,
into a civil war, straight up, pretty much. Like people would have lost their damn minds. And understandably, and if they acquitted him for that, like it would just be irredeemable. Like
yeah,
I think I would even be out there marching with them because at that point it's like, are you serious?
yeah. So that's one of the major topics this week, or major things going on in the news this week. You know, there's a lot of talk. I don't know if you've been hearing a lot of speculation about the next stimulus. Um, you've been hearing something about like $1,400 a month. They're trying to put
What?
all these different. Yeah, I've been hearing all this
Where have you
speculation.
been listening? Because I haven't heard anything about that.
A lot of the economists and a lot of people reading into this believe that it's like so far fetched, but they also said that about the third stimulus, and people did get their $1,400. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
There's also a lot of stuff in the stock market right now that's kind of there's a lot of interesting changes going on because despite everything that's happened this past year, the stock market has stayed relatively good, largely through artificial means. I'm pretty sure, but there are some stocks that are going to be coming up pretty soon that I think people should probably pay attention to, especially things that revolve around tech industry, batteries, things like that. There's just there's a lot going on in the world right now, and pretty soon those are going to be the resources that run our planet. And I think there's a lot of money to be made there.
yeah. I mean, right now that's what they need to really focus on, though, is because that stuff's helping the job market as well. And
Mm-hmm.
money right now is like we're seeing all these businesses collapsing, and a lot of these businesses, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they're looking for a job," yet there's so many people right now on unemployment, and a lot of people don't want to go to work because there's no incentive to. You're making more money on unemployment.
Exactly.
So
Like, why would you want to go back if you make the same or more? If you take into account taxes, Like, I know one person who hasn't gone back because literally they would be knocked into the next tax bracket.
Exactly. And a lot of people too, they lose benefits that they
That would
have
be my
currently.
case. That was my case because it's I'm not going to stay on it forever, but it is ironic that you have to get Medicaid to get good insurance. Granted, it's not accepted in every single place, but the amount of coverage that I've gotten for the amount that I've paid
Yeah.
is not even comparable. Like, I was spending almost a third of each paycheck just paying for health insurance, and I still had copays and everything.
Well, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
And
That's the,
that was with 11.99.
wow.
Yeah.
So that's, that's the, and that's the shame. That's the stuff that people are talking about. People don't want to go back to work because they're afraid of their benefits getting changed or their rent being raised if they're on Section 8 housing.
The whole reason I took my last job was for the benefits because it was 11.99. And then once I started working, I found out that they had made a special contract with the insurance aspect of 11.99, so that all the other stuff is still in effect. But the free healthcare that is the biggest perk of 11.99 workers in hospitals and places like that was excluded from the contract. So we had to get a separate insurance through a company called Heritage, which was brand new. So new, in fact, that even the pharmacies were not aware of them. We had to educate the pharmacies by calling them to let them know that that was our new insurance and explain to them who they were.
Yeah, see, that's just
On
total
11.99.
Yeah, that's total nonsense.
Yeah. Like, I know we're talking about criminal justice and everything tonight, but healthcare, I think it all ties into it, really. Like, I mean, people going to prison because they're addicted to drugs that were given out by healthcare. People getting arrested for having pot in their pocket, which is now partially legal and owned by some of the biggest members of our government, and is one of the biggest money makers on the planet at the moment, and is suddenly okay because of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad but true, but everything kind of is connected when it comes to that. Especially when we're talking, like we over the past few weeks, we talked about like American educational system. We talked about addiction. We talked about debt. It's interesting how all these topics kind of lead in one into the other, and how it's like a
I mean,
domino.
it's people tired of being bent over a knee by the government, being like waka 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 waka.
Yeah. I mean, so like before, instead of just going on to all these different news topics and
bitching at the world again.
yeah, instead of doing all that, let's talk about American criminal justice system. Now we're talking about Derek Chauvin and all that nonsense. The three other officers also. Now the world is watching how these three will be sentenced, or how how their trials will go.
They should go with him. They were there. They could have stopped him.
And that's the same thing with the George Floyd case. The three other officers, and this is the same. We talked about this with abuse in nursing homes and group homes. We talked about abuse.
Nazis who said, "I'm just following orders." Come on.
Exactly. Like, these are the same things we've talked about in the past. So our record is straight. To me, I might have been the person to knee on his neck, but if you were standing there and you didn't stop me, you're just as guilty.
It was wrong, and you knew it was wrong because you're another officer of the law, and you recognize what is murder.
Well, what really is shocking to me is those other officers must have witnessed so many other atrocities, that they just got away with, because it seemed nonchalant. Nobody really reacted to what was happening. I know this is a year-old type case, and I'm not trying to like bring up old wounds, but right now we're seeing the sentencings, and will these people be charged? So that's what I'm saying. Like, they should be guilty.
Yeah.
Same offense.
Even if they don't get the same charges, they should have one of like neglecting public. Like, I don't know what the actual legalistic term would be, for what the actual charge would be, but there has to be something, because I mean, if you stand by and do nothing, it's neglect, like in any field. And I just don't understand how, like, first of all, why did it take a year to have this trial? Given the importance of this case, why did it take a year to get him here?
It's like I don't know what the reasoning is. I feel like all these cases get stretched out. The world scene, it was filmed. It was black and white, cut and dry. He was caught red-handed. He was guilty. Did we really need a trial? But I guess that's the American way. And
no, we need a trial. Otherwise, then we step off the deep end into chaos. Like, we can't be starting to lynch people again. Like that. That's, we don't want mob mentality to overtake our country, which it almost has in many ways, because people are believing in fairy tales again.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want mob mentality. I'm never going to, I'm not talking about turning over the government and stuff like that. But at the same time, like certain people, like, when you think about it, and this is my personal opinion, like child molesters and people of that, like, if you're caught red-handed, as he was,
I'm sorry.
Like if you were caught red-handed, like he was, it shouldn't have taken this long. He should have been already. I mean, like, and I have a thing against a lot of the stuff. They're worried about his health, safety, mental health. So his time in prison is going to be segregated. To me, it should be in general population.
With the people that he threw in there through those practices, because guess what? There's probably quite a few people in that slammer with him who probably shouldn't be there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Or that he pushed their buttons, or he got too physical, or who knows? I mean, we saw it. We saw him murder someone.
And the nonchalance, like you said, that indicates that this was not an uncommon occurrence. I mean, it is standard training to submit somebody to the ground like that by placing a knee on them. Like, they do teach that in the academy, as far as I know. I mean, that's like a takedown technique. But if you do it the wrong way...
What I've been seeing a lot lately, and it's not just with his case in general, is I see a lot of cases where people, they don't know the laws themselves, and they're as opposed to actually following the law and what their rights are when they pull someone over. I've been seeing a lot of things where people kind of like use their pride. They let their pride get in the way because someone's being defiant.
Cop hasn't bothered me since I put a dashboard cam in my car.
Yeah, probably because, I mean, I've had, wonderful bump-ins with the law, and I've also had, where cops pull me over and are extremely disrespectful, and it's like, who are you talking to? Like, you and I are both human beings, so I feel like when you approach someone, you should have that type of level of of respect. There's been times I've been pulled over, okay, so I don't understand. I've been pulled over and like I go to say something and I've been told to be quiet or shut my mouth. Like, you're talking to another adult. Like, but can you imagine if this is happening to a segregated group of people over many years, how they might feel about it, and being mistreated by cops and knowing the hatred that has gone over through the years. It's just
like, if you put him in Gen Pop, like, I mean, it would almost be kind of like Shakespearean justice. I'm sorry, man. Like, if you're that big of a douche, maybe you deserve it.
Yeah, like, I don't want to, like, maybe he needs to live a very long life, and one that he could reflect on. It's just sad that the taxpayers are going to have to pay.
You realize it costs about $100,000 a year to support one single prisoner? Yeah. And that's not even when they're in isolation. That's like in Gen Pop.
Well, the thing is, and this is a really interesting topic as we're going into it with criminal justice, the American criminal justice system really isn't used as a punishment. It used to be.
It's a financial branch of the government.
This is meant to be like kind of a step towards being a better member of society, even if you never get out. That's truly what it is now. Just think about it. the correctional system. It doesn't say the punishment system. It's supposed to be correctional, like turning you into a better person, correcting you, putting you back in line, learning a trade. That's why a lot of times people
supposed to be a rehabilitation.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. A rehabilitation. And, how many people end up going to jail and they come out with, their GED or higher education. They have a trade now that they didn't have before. It happens. Taxpayers are paying for it.
But how many of them are getting the opportunity to, how many of them are actually either availing themselves or are allowed to avail themselves, because you have to be on good behavior, because you can't be, stabbing people in class. It's bad. They tend to frown upon that. But yeah, I mean, the way we treat drug addicts and crazy people in this country like criminals it's a convenient way to make money and to get them off the streets.
I mean, I agree with you with that statement, but at the same time,
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying that's what it's become.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's become. That's for sure. I think that underlying it all, the idea of the criminal justice system is the idea to deliver justice for all. And throughout this country, we've seen how it really hasn't been justice for all, for everyone. I mean, and that has nothing necessarily to do with just race, but we're talking about class.
For the rich, bitch.
We're talking about classism. We're talking about, the rich versus the poor, and how they get treated very differently. Like, for example, like you see a lot of these celebrities get slaps on the wrist when an average, people that have a lot of pull in the government, like you said, mafioso or politicians. When I tell you guys, keep your politicians accountable, for the last how many episodes, how many politicians got slaps on the wrists when they were buying escorts with taxpayer money?
Look at Epstein.
Were doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
and they got, like I said, a slap on the wrist, and ta-da, they're out. As a matter of fact, they're selling a book now, and they're even more of a celebrity because now they got a little bit of an edge to them. So they're now selling books, and they're doing interviews, and they're getting paid for those interviews. But an average Joe, forget about it. You're doing a few years. You're going to be thousands of dollars in debt, paying lawyers and court fees, and it's just, you're going to lose your job.
I heard a reporter recently, they were talking about how they had the chance to interview Madoff recently before he just, was it this week or last week that all that happened with Madoff, where he passed?
What was that?
Madoff
that was last week.
That was last week. So one of the reporters or commentator was talking about how they had a chance to interview him not too far in the past, and how the guy showed absolutely no remorse still after all this time, like just a smugness, like that he got away with it for as long as he did, and just like a pride in telling, like, how he did it. And it's like, once I think when people get to that level, it really becomes down to your character, like, honestly, like, because it has the power to do great things, and it has the power to corrupt you so completely that you become somebody like that guy who destroys the lives of millions.
Well, you're talking about Madoff, but Madoff is one of many. There's been so many. There's what the heck is the guy's name? He was the movie The Wolf of Wall Street was based off of, and I don't know his name. It wasn't
about Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, it wasn't. But
that was the wrong side to hit. I just had surgery on that side.
Oh my god. But yeah, so that movie, basically, the guy's out there doing all these interviews, and he's acting like a big shot still. He ruined so many people's lives. He robbed so much money from people. And what it was is, we go back a few weeks ago in our previous podcast, and we talked about how these mass shooters are going out and they're being publicized. They're being idolized because, yeah, they did something infamous and horrible, but they're on the front page of papers. They're making headlines and news. Their name is remembered. Same thing with these guys. This guy got away with, he did some time behind bars, and now he's a big shot again. And, movies are being made of him. And it's like, it's kind of ridiculous,
I I mean, everybody's fascinated by the ones who like live that like the hard and fast life because it's fascinating to see something that most people don't get to live. And so, I get why they're popular in media and why it's popular as a movie. But like you said, once you delve into what they actually did to people, it's like, should we really be doing that? Like, should we really be glorifying that? Like, we're glorifying a sex addicted cokehead who steals money and has no conscience.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people on this broadcast, they might not really know what the criminal justice system. It has 5 pillars to it, and I like to break them down because that's what we do on the show. We inform the public. So the first one is the community. Okay. The second is law enforcement. The third is the prosecution. The fourth, the courts, and the fifth, corrections. All of these are like a chain link function that work simultaneously together to better the public. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be fair for all. But it starts, like we said, from the community. So let's just say, your community, your area that you happen to live in is decrepit, and there's a lot of things going wrong there. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of poverty. Are you going to have the same type of opportunities as the community next door that has a lot of thriving? They have a lot of money. They have cameras everywhere. There's a lot of protection. Are you going to have the same sort of standard of living there as one not? Same thing as law enforcement. If law enforcement certain departments aren't having the same sort of trainings universally, they talk about diversity and they talk about, they put basically the idea in your head that, certain people get treated differently. It's the same type of thing. So then the same thing with the prosecution and how we view.
And that's not to say that that's not true. That does happen. There is discrimination. There is unfair treatment. There are things that definitely are systemic that need to be fixed. But
yeah,
it can't be the tagline. And that's my concern, is that every single news story is made into an issue about that in some way or other.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of things too. The major issue with the criminal justice system here in this country is there is a majority of incarcerations that include drug use,
most of which is marijuana,
and mental health. Now, both of those create a totally different service that's needed. Okay, when we talk about drug use, as opposed to them being incarcerated, they would need a rehab, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree. Same thing as mental health. Putting people with mental health issues, schizophrenia, behind bars, really going to help them? No, not
unless you provide treatment.
They need some sort of treatment, and a lot of people are probably going to argue on here. Yeah, well, they get treatment behind bars and stuff like that, but when we were talking about all the money, like we were talking about $100,000 a year for each inmate, and think about all the people that are behind bars that shouldn't be there.
We have the most people in prison in our country out of, I think, just about any nation in the world. I think we're the second most people arrested. I don't remember who the first one is, but it's like we use up 500% more. We have 500% more arrests and everything like that over stupid crap. You know what? I'm mixing up numbers right now because I'm tired, so please don't quote me on that. But
damn it.
It's just, I'm sorry, guys. I'm still a little bit messed up with my face. Especially after punching myself for humorous effect, which didn't work. But, it just... Help me out here. I'm just having a brain fart.
Yeah, what he said. But,
sorry.
Yeah. So, no, the main thing is...
Pillars. That's it. Pillars, yes.
Yes. The pillars of the system here. That when a lot of people are incarcerated for drug use and mental health reasons, that's really a problem because they're not there getting the treatment that they need. There is no type of correction being taken place because that's not what they need. And then it puts them in situations where they're behind bars with people who are actually there for legitimate reasons, legitimate crimes, we could say drug use is a crime, which it's, we all have our moral dilemmas with
the
it.
Law and you do it anyways, it is a crime technically. Whether it should be a crime or not is another story altogether.
Exactly there. And this is the same thing when we go back a few months. We talked about bail reform. And I don't know how many debates I've had with people who are like, all these rapists and killers are getting thrown back on the street. Right? A guy beats the crap out of his wife and ends up in jail, and the next day he's out. That is horrible. And I think when we need to reform those laws, we need to make that bail reform where if it's a violent offense, they shouldn't be able to be released. But when we look at it on a broad spectrum, and you see that, I don't know, somebody who is wealthy goes into jail, you just pay whatever bail it is and bounce right out there. But then the poor Joe Schmo gets caught with an ounce of weed in his car prior to,
or a joint,
law or whatever it was, and he ends up doing a few months because he can't pay whatever to get out of there. So that's the difference we're talking about.
And what's fascinating also is like, I've become like very avid, interested about like agriculture and things like that over the past year. And I've always had an interest in it, but I'm really kind of like fascinated with like the behind the scenes, like what goes into it, the science behind it, and like learning as much as I can because I like to garden. And I was watching a podcast today it was a live broadcast of cannabis farmers from around the country who it was like listening to a scientific conference on soil health and sustainability and agricultural practices that could potentially save our country and our planet. And this was a bunch of criminals previously discussing microbiology and how to save our soil when our heroes of our corporations are discussing how to create poisons. Like literally, like what was it last week? I don't know if we spoke about it in here, but like dandelions literally having the same ingredients in them as heart medications. And the company that owns the heart medications also owns a patent for Roundup, which kills dandelions.
Wow.
I don't know if I spoke with you about that, or I think it was somebody else who I was discussing that with. But it blows your mind. It's like it's a circle jerk.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what do you feel like? There's an interesting aspect here because police are a part of our justice system, whether we want to believe it or not. A lot of people will say that the police are out there just to bully and whatever. They're just pawns in the game.
I just think that some of them are assholes and some of them are great.
But that's just like anybody.
Exactly.
You got to remember, the reason why I think a lot of people view them as assholes is because most of our interaction with police is negative. They're pulling us over on the road. They're giving us tickets, which we have to pay fines for. They're telling us to turn the music down at our house party. And, all the stuff we see on TV. And that's true. These are true things.
But to their credit, though, like the other day, I was driving down the highway and I saw a state trooper who had pulled over an 18-wheeler. In order to give that guy a ticket, this officer had to not only like park his car out into traffic so that everybody has to drive around him. It's a way of making it so it's less likely to hit the person as opposed to the car. It's a standard tactic. That's why they always have you move around. But he then has to climb up onto the step, open the door, lean back with hand on weapon, and hope that the guy's not a complete freaking lunatic.
Wow.
And you think about that. Like, you go into that situation every day, you're gonna have some, like, that's legit PTSD. Your coffee being made wrong, that's not PTSD.
Exactly. That's crazy. I mean, I totally agree with you.
You being called a nasty name, yes, it hurts your feelings. It fucks with your head. That's not PTSD. That may be emotional trauma there or something like that. PTSD is worrying you're going to get shot in the face every time you pull someone over.
What's your opinion? Now, you could plead the fifth on this one. This is going to be a tough one. Abolishing the police.
Bullshit. Because, look. Okay, I'm sorry. If you're going to... Oh. Wow. If you're going to abolish police, who is going to step into the vacuum?
Well, there's like a whole, in reality, a few a few cities trialed this out, as we saw, like them burn to the ground last summer. But when they did that, the whole mentality is police-free zones, where the police, I guess, the community. See, remember,
unless you attack.
Remember we talked about the justice system and how there's different the 5 tiers, and what was the first one? Community. If you have a really strong bulletproof community where you have neighborhood watch groups, that's what we're talking about. You have neighborhood watch groups. You guys have a lot of community-based programs, that
maybe
are less
security cameras for people who can't afford them. Maybe find different ways of increasing security.
But this is, I guess, the mentality about zones that were police-free from communities who believed that they were targeted by the police. Whether I truthfully don't agree with this, but I think that community in general should always be strong. If the community is strong in general, I think that you'll have a different outlook with the police as far as how you're treated, because now you have a backbone, your own community, you have a lot of witnesses. It's kind of like a balancing act. A cop comes there and he wants to start, being power hungry and disrespectful and violent.
Because I've had my
community is watching
multiple times, where one of my best friends of our family is a detective, or was a former detective. Great guy. We have people that we know who are amazing individuals who save people's lives, who are legit heroes, and who go to work every day for a salary that doesn't pay what it should for a job that they do. Okay? So we can't just say defund the police and abolish the police completely, because that's like the French Revolution, where they say, take out the entire aristocracy. Okay, that's great. The aristocracy were a bunch of assholes in France. Then all of a sudden, we didn't have a government in France, and everybody started having mass executions. You don't get rid of law enforcement completely. You have to reform it. You don't defund it completely. You add funds to areas that can actually make a change. And call me a stickler for language, but this is what I've been saying since the beginning. You don't get to... The reason we have specific words that have definitions are so that we can clarify our positions on things. It's so that we can make clear what we believe, what we think, what we want, and what needs to be done. If we're constantly making up new definitions for words that already are established words for 1,000 or more years, you start making things really confusing. Suddenly the earth gets flat again. Suddenly we have a cabal of blood-drinking people that's based on a 1,000-year-old trope about basically hating Jews.
Yeah. Just adding to that topic right there. So this week, the Senate passed a bill Thursday designated to curb the spike in hate crimes targeting Asian Americans during the coronavirus pandemic. Okay. So in this bill, they're trying to make the basically it harsher, the punishment harsher for people who are part of hate crimes, either doubling sentences, stuff like that. We were talking, in previous podcasts about being on the right side of history. So in the chamber, it's a 94-1 vote, with Republican Josh Hawley of Missouri, the only senator to oppose it. Hold this guy accountable. That's what I got to say. When we vote people in and they make votes like this, that's literally like, this is a vote to curb hate crimes.
Which is a good thing to get rid of.
He's against that. Why are you voting?
What's his reason?
Is his reason that he's a part of the KKK? Like, what is the reason that he would be opposed to that? I do not know, but this is what I'm talking about holding the people you vote for accountable, because hate should have no place in this country. And someone like that, whatever his reasons are.
Unfortunately, while it shouldn't hold a place in this country, it unfortunately does, because we're all human.
We're human, but when you have someone on top like that, where you're literally the only person not voting in that case, it's kind of It's kind of
That's
outrageous.
a set of steel balls or a completely insane person. Because either way, he's a turd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, there's no denying the statistics. Like there's a 150% increase in Asian hate crimes in the past year, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to I think it was like a 5 or 10%. Like I'm not even the exact number, but it's a much smaller number of other hate-related crimes, and yet in the past year, Asian American crimes, I should say, have gone up largely because of rhetoric in the media and people wanting to have someone, not just in the media, but like people just wanting to have, because let's face it, we're part of the media now. If we're taking this seriously, like technically this is one component that adds to the media in the totality. Granted, we are a pipsqueak compared to like a network or anything like that. We're just two guys talking, but we're putting out an opinion that people are listening to, and whether they agree or disagree, that's fine. And I don't know where I was going with that, but it just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's such a tough topic. It really is, because it's like you don't want to say something that gets you labeled the wrong way. You want to provide justice. You want to do the right thing, but when we can't even define our words, like how do you define what's right and wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And I look like a weirdo.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though? There's a lot of problems at the top when we talk about reforming stuff. We start basically, I would say, with law enforcement and policing, getting proper training and figure out stuff like we were talking about PTSD and psychological distress situations, like, someone's a life or death situation. These are major issues. There's also the idea of mandatory minimum sentencing. People going to jail for a crime, and they have nothing else on their record. You're not a repeat offender, and they're doing a mandatory minimum sentencing. There should be some sort of, I don't want to say like a slap on the wrist, but it should be all circumstantial.
Yeah. I mean, like, what's the offense that you're getting? Like, if it's a mandatory minimum of like, okay, you murdered more than one person, you should definitely get, okay, granted, mandatory minimum is a good thing. But if it's for like a drug related charge or a misdemeanor charge, that's just an easy way to make money for a corporate system that profits off of prison.
What it is too, and then also the major problem too in the system is the 1994 crime bill. In the 1994 crime bill, not only it increased the number and length of incarcerations, but it got more funding into building more jails and prisons. That's why throughout the 90s into the early 2000s, you were seeing prisons pop up all over the place. What country do you know of that were literally put in a situation? This was one of the things that actually Kamala Harris was highly criticized for during the debates, is because she had a big part of these crime bills that had mass incarcerations among African American men.
Oops.
And a lot of that stuff, and not just talk political, but these are facts, these are truths. Another thing too is poverty. Poverty and criminal justice go hand in hand. I mean, they don't get their fair trial as much.
And locking someone up for being poor and being homeless happens, whether we want to admit it or not.
The handling of juveniles is another major issue with the criminal justice system right now.
Yeah.
Just recently they talked about life sentence for juveniles, because that's being totally reformed currently as we speak. There was instances where a juvenile, someone under the age of 18 years old, committed a heinous crime. And we're not talking about, larceny or whatever thing. We're talking about murder. We're talking about rape.
And how old were these kids?
No, that's what I'm saying. This is the handling of juveniles. This is a general statement. This is
if you're like 17 and a half, I'm sorry. Like, you're cognizant enough.
No, this is under that age. You're okay. A juvenile delinquent. So they're trying right now to reform that bill to make, because in some states, everybody has a hand in hand. juveniles are treated as adults depending on the crime. So, that's a moral discussion between people, but
like my personal opinion on it is, look, if you murder someone in cold blood and it was proven 6 ways from Sunday that you did it, you're guilty, like whatever. I don't necessarily think you should get life in prison if you're a juvenile, because and I don't think you should get the same like death sentence or whatever. I think that they should spend even more attention on trying to rehabilitate this person, if at all possible, before throwing away the key. Because by doing that, otherwise, even if you give them a 30-year sentence, when they get out, they're going to be a trained, hardened criminal, because prison trains you to be a criminal, because that's how you survive.
Yeah, in most cases, I would say in a lot of cases. I don't know about all of them, because some people come
not
out
in a minimum security, but like in a max.
In a chain, I don't know if they come out hardened criminals, but they might come out like a little bit more wary, a little more observant.
Okay, yes, all right. That's too broad of a statement. I can't say that entirely, but they come out of prison being exposed to seeing hard crime for years on end.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, they're exposed to it. It becomes normalized.
Mm-hmm. For those of people who don't know, in the past, I actually worked for juvenile corrections for a short bit. It wasn't for me, so I resigned. However, in that time, I did witness some really remarkable things. People, children that they came from poverty-stricken areas filled with gangs, who were put in there for crimes, some heinous, some very minimal. And sad to say, it's some of the best kids with the best behaviors and very polite. Prior to their release, they would go and commit a crime within there, or a fight, or do something to prolong their stay. And then once they were counseled after the fact, it was found out that they didn't want to go home. They didn't want to go back to the streets where they were originally arrested on, because they knew that going back to the same environment where they were taken from would put them back in the same situation. So it's kind of interesting how many people,
you go from being poor to having 3 screw-on meals a day.
Well, that too, and people's influence, like their community. If their community has a lot of problems and their community isn't funded, there's not a lot of jobs within that community. Think about what we're talking about. We can't just blame solely the police department and the courts. The courts and all of them have their own blames too. It's the laws and how business. When we talk about how things go hand in hand,
and it's
business is very important.
People. Yeah, like businesses. Like I don't know if it's like in every other state, but in our state, like you have to. One of the first things that you have to fill out on the absurd list of questions on your application are, first of all, it asks you, have you ever been arrested? Now that's a tricky thing, because you could be arrested, and as long as the charges didn't stick, then you don't have to write that you were arrested, which is technically a lie. So if they find out that you were arrested, you could get in trouble for that, even though, you're not in trouble, but you could get judged for it. And it doesn't matter what you got arrested for either. Just the fact that you got arrested automatically, a lot of these companies that are on these hiring websites, they have automated algorithms that sort people out. Have they been arrested? Yes. Put at this priority level. They're going to get the applicants who have not been arrested first. So once you get all that out of the way with, what are you left with? You're left with jobs at McDonald's, which now may actually pay a decent amount, like if they with the minimum wage, at least for.
But they're not giving benefits or full time.
Exactly, and so you're giving them that, putting them in the same poverty-stricken situation where they're racked with debt, surrounded by crime and drugs, and you're expecting them to make improvements. Now, some of them are able to do it, and that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are not.
That's the problem. You can't expect best for some people given the area they come from. I know people can rise to the occasion, but at the same time, if they don't have
that's a rarity.
Community resources and the ability to do so, they're kind of stuck in a cycle. So that's what our biggest challenge really is. Starting from the bottom of that tier system is the community in general. Building the community, strong foundation, faith, businesses, community watch, everything you can think of to really build that, because it's really interesting as well that some of the biggest challenges with the criminal justice system today are the persistent violent crimes in urban areas, cybercrime, and as we talked about before, the addiction epidemic. So
I personally think they should decriminalize drugs and focus on treating people.
Yeah, I mean, this has worked in other foreign countries where
Portugal.
They totally decriminalize this. And think about the money that our country would save not incarcerating these, thousands of drug addicts. I mean,
and I'm not advocating you go out and get stoned. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying the drugs should be like, hey, here you go. Here's some coke. Here's some crack. These have to be like these have to be like actually controlled situations.
I'm going to sound really controversial saying this, but I don't feel like the government ever should have interference with what you do with your body, no matter what it is. And sad to say it, you take away crack, cocaine, whatever, yet the pharmacist and your doctor is still prescribing you these narcotics. So you have a new addiction now. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm going at. So like when we start,
if you come off of them suddenly, you go into a severe depression.
When we start interfering ourselves with this, I understand like, people like you're going to have broken homes now. People are going to be born to, having drug addict parents, or they're going to drive behind the wheel and get hurt. Well, what if they weren't driving behind the wheel to hurt anyone else? It's
already happening.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's already happening. Are we really going to change? I'm not trying to influence this, but us criminalizing a lot of these acts, the taxpayer is paying for this.
When you're addicted to something, and this goes back to what we spoke in the addiction episode, but when you're addicted to something, your mind is changed. Your rationality is changed. Your priorities change. Your priority becomes getting the substance that fixes that addiction for the time being, which is the problem. So when you're saying like, treating addiction with law enforcement, if they get violent, I understand, yes, bring in law enforcement. You need to have somebody to control the situation. However, have it be a unit that's specially designed for dealing with mentally ill people so that they don't immediately pull out their guns and shoot them, or overly stun them because they don't know how to deal with the fact that this guy has autism. The sound of the subway train went by, freaked him out, and he didn't know what to do, and suddenly he's excited, so they think he's attacking, when in reality, he's just scared of the noise.
Yep. Like, I don't want to continue too long on this topic. We could go forever, as we always do. But a lot of people are probably wondering, listening to this tonight, or will watch in the future, what could we do to improve our current criminal justice system? There's so many different things. And I think, personally, the main thing is building up the community base, like we talked about, yet promote the community safety through alternatives that don't include incarceration.
Give funding to YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
All of these organizations that are there already trying to make a difference.
I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. If you guys want to like really give into charities or give into programs like that, these are wonderful. And COVID-19 truly hurt the funding to a lot of these things that, Stefan, you just said. YMCA, Boys and Girls Club have been crushed,
And yet, you know what? Like, while the schools are going down, like in Middletown, the YMCA elementary school program that they have, or the daycare program, managed to stay open, follow guidelines like they were supposed to, and not one of their students or teachers got sick.
Mm-hmm.
In a year of a pandemic.
Exactly. I would think too, also create fair and effective policing practices. You know what I mean? Have the same type of standard for one person. For everyone. And just put respect first. We understand if someone's doing something wrong, it needs to be stopped, but at the same time, treat everyone equally. Promote justice in pretrial services and practices. Ensure that there's fair trials and equality, you know?
Yep. I mean, even when you well, look at like the way lawyers do trials. Have you ever had to go into a mock trial or sit on jury before?
Yes.
So the whole process of how they choose the jurors, they basically ask you a set of loaded questions to determine whether or not you're even a viable witness based on certain things. And in some ways that makes sense, but it's also tailoring your group of objective witnesses or objective jurymen by choosing who you're allowing into it at the same time. If it's really a jury of your peers, it's a jury of your peers, including the whack jobs.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily advocating for that, but it starts right from there. You're already what's the word where you curating like the decision from the very beginning.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, there is no right or wrong answer, and like we have a very imperfect system, yet it's the system we have. So like when we talk about like,
and it's better than others too.
It's a lot better than a lot of others. We talk about a lot of things, and like people think of like the originalists, like nothing can be changed. I feel like a lot of people are stuck in that mindset when it comes to how laws are made, that things that were once made or put in the Constitution, they're originalists. They have to stay to that. Yet at the same time, things have changed, times have changed. We have to make sure that we are evolving too with how we view people. I mean, like we talked about things in the past in previous episodes. If you guys want to go backtrack, how things were illegal in this country that should never have been. So that's why I said laws need to be reformed sometimes to make them better.
And there's still laws on the books today that like are completely absurd, but it would cost more money to go through the process of getting them removed. But when you look at it, technically they're laws still. Like, peeling an orange in a hotel room in Florida at one point was illegal. It's in Florida or in California, one or the other.
Wow.
Yep.
No.
And they used to make girls get out in front of the car, or men get out in front of the car if the woman was driving in one state. Like there's another one where like there's all these asinine rules from like the 1900s and the 1800s that were made at a time when people were like, women don't have any rights, black people don't have any rights, and neither does anybody who's not white or rich.
Yeah. I'm not rich.
Me neither. Yeah. No.
So on to other topics, guys. I thank you for being a part of this segment tonight. But I really want to talk about something that with the Catskill International Film Festival. We have films from all over, and I want to make sure you guys know that it is a free event. If you don't know already, the Catskill International Film Festival is free of charge for all of the public. All you guys have to do is go to the website, catskillfilmfest.com, and the films will be showcased on the homepage. If you guys want to get involved, there will be voting polls for every film you watch for various categories, for winners, for losers. There'll also be workshops for the event. We have 2 different workshops. One's going to happen on May 21st, and the other is going to happen on May 23rd. One is going to be basically about creating a film on a micro budget, and the other is about what to expect in a casting process of a film or commercial work or whatever, basically casting 101. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And this year is wild. We have some really amazing projects this year.
Time to bounce back from last year, right?
Well, no, we had amazing projects last year too, but it's very different. I think the content of this film is more adult than in the past. We have some films that like we have to put disclaimers on because the amount of sexuality and nudity in the films, and we have a lot of horror projects.
That naughty.
We have a lot of horror films this year, and I think what it is people are kind of
in a dark
challenging.
Space.
They might be in a dark space, but I think people really are kind of like they've been censored for so long. What they're doing, and now that they have the free roam to create, they're going balls to the wall.
Just look at Spring Break, dude. Like the people were allowed out. They're like, oh,
That's what it felt like. Like I felt like this year's film festival is like freedom. It's very open-minded, world open. Like it's pretty sweet how universally throughout the world you're seeing this year.
And another thing that I'm actually that is in the works right now. I just started up a new page on Facebook called Stefan's Gardens. I'm actually, in addition to doing podcasting, photography, videography, I've, like I said, I've been doing a lot of gardening, and so I've decided to kind of combine the three together and start putting together. I've been wanting to do a tutorial channel for a while now, and I've done some tutorial videos, and I still want to do more on photography as well. But I was always that weird. Like, how many times when we went hiking, Charles, like where I'd be like, "Oh, that tree right there," you're like, great.
Cool.
You're like, I don't give a damn.
Cool.
But to me, like, that's exciting. I'm like, oh, I just saw that plant. Like, well, what is that? And people are like, I don't know. It's a freaking plant, dude. Like, who cares? Like, that's always been me since I was a little kid. So, like, herbal remedies, things like that. I like all that stuff because I have to take enough medications that are real medicines that have real side effects as it is, that if I can find some sort of holistic herbal way that by making a tea out of lemongrass or something like that, I could solve a problem without taking a pill. Like I'm going to do it. And the same thing with the fact that the amount of vitality I felt last year just by how I changed the way I was eating. So I want to share what I've learned and what I'm learning along the way because, you continue learning. So Stefan's Gardens, check it out.
That's pretty sweet. It's interesting because a lot of people out there don't realize like the pros and cons to having a garden and how much money you can actually save having your own produce. You know,
can also waste a lot if you don't know what you're doing, which I've done.
Exactly. I wish I had that skill set, or actually, it's not really the skill set. I really wish I had that patience.
And I'm paying for my little bit of lack of impatience because I had to cover over the veggies last night, and because I was so dopey from the damn shot in my face, I kind of fell asleep in the car when I got home. Woke up at 5 a.m. after the freeze had already happened. So we shall see what survives.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Like I said, I make mistakes too.
Here in the Catskills, you never know when you're going to get snow. Now, we're literally, the end of April and we had snow. So, yes.
Granted, it was a flurry, but it's snow. It's not allowed.
It's freezing out there, so we can only imagine.
I was wearing a winter coat, man. It's almost May.
Exactly. So, what it is.
I'm a sissy with the cold this year, though. I really am.
There's another thing, too, I wanted to bring out there. For all of you people out there, all you actors or crew, I'm actually planning the next production.
You misfits.
I'm planning the next production towards the end of the summer. Everything, hopefully, everything balances out. So if you guys are actors, actresses, crew, you guys want to be behind the scenes, let us know. Inbox me. marinarofilms@gmail.com. We're always looking to work with new people. The premieres of both Oath to Injustice and Lovelock, we are planning hopefully for the end of this July. And it all depends on how the movie theaters are open. I know a lot of people have been asking me. They can't come out quick enough. I really wish that I could just release them out to the world, but it's got to be done right. There was a lot of hard work and dedication that went into making both of those projects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of them is a feature, yet the short film was the first film I've done ever in COVID. And it was,
and last,
proof to the world. Yeah, proof to the world that we were able to do something in times like these, because everyone's struggling. A lot of the movies we're seeing. Yeah, a lot of the movies we're seeing now, independent or whatnot, were filmed either before the pandemic or, they were made so limited that you could clearly tell. So I'm hoping that in this production we've happened to pull the wool over their eyes. and make the best of it.
I'm excited to see it. With movies, quite often this is something that people don't realize is that once the movie is shot, it's not ready yet. Like the whole editing process that goes into it, marketing it. There's a lot more that goes into the back end of that. That even the first time I worked on a movie, I was like, when are we going to see this thing?
It's very frustrating for people that aren't in the field to really understand what's going on. I don't know how many people I know, like, they're like, oh, you make films, you make movies? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then they ask, like, oh, I want to be a part of it. Dude, I could do this. I could be, you need a badass in your movie. I'll wear a leather jacket. I'll beat up everybody. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
You get there like, camera.
No, like, they get there, and then after the first take, they kind of lose all interest. They're like, wait a minute, how long is this going to go? This is going to go for maybe 16 hours. There's a possibility this is going to go for a very long time, and people don't like that. And then like the long hours
ahead of time.
You don't realize, you might be in some adverse conditions as well. You might be in extreme heat, filthy garages, whatever it may be, whatever the scene entails. So making an independent film, to me, is a highlight of my life.
Hanging out
Love
in
it.
the cemetery.
It's exciting, yeah, but you don't listen. That's another thing too. Let's say you have free roam to film in a cemetery. That sounds wonderful. Sounds beautiful, right? Well, what if you're filming in a cemetery and someone goes to mourn the loss of their loved one, and you're filming?
On the day you're filming.
Yeah, that happened, and it's bizarre. Yeah, I felt like the biggest asshole of all time, but I was like,
you're looking at the clock and then being like, we're such assholes.
Yeah, like we're waiting. Are you done mourning yet? No, like it's messed up. But I'm like, it happens. Because you're filming in a public place.
And you're trying not to be obvious about it either, because you're like, I don't want to be disrespectful by having camera equipment here. You do your best to be as respectful as possible, but that's a really rough situation. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. You know what though? You live, you learn. So without any further ado, we're going to go all night. We have the Rob Philbick Duo. I hope I didn't chop their name up. The Rob Philbick Duo Band. And we're excited to have them on tonight.
Thank you.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, I know it's hard to see us when we're.
I got an
Maybe
idea.
if
Hang
one
on.
of you sit in front of the other. There
Right
you
here.
go.
There we go.
There we go.
It. Thank you so much.
Hi, yes, you got the name right, Steph. I'm Charles.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So-
You got it right. That's how it's Rob Philbick Duo. And pleased to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming on.
How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great.
Yep. Doing great.
Doing great.
Yep.
So
I'm excited. I'm ready to play some music.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see the guitar. I'm kind of curious. What are you going to play?
Well, we're going to play some classic rock songs. Probably do some Eagles songs. We might do
Southern Cross.
Some Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
That's
we might
right.
do some America.
It depends
Classic
on how
rock
much time you
songs.
guys have.
70s classic rock songs, basically.
Okay.
Nice surprise. We had no idea. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So before you get started the performance, I just want to ask, how has this pandemic changed you guys? Because I know you guys do a lot of live performances. How has it
We
been
used
since?
It definitely has cut down on that. Yeah, for sure. We started off and we did some streaming shows in the beginning just to do it, to be seen. But yeah, obviously, it cut us back from doing shows, 2 or 3 times a month to basically nothing. But
So you were doing on average 2 or 3 a month?
I would say maybe
But
2.
how has it changed me? Golly, that's a complex question to answer. How has it changed me? I don't know. I guess made me appreciate doing live shows even more, I suppose. Maybe I took some things for granted when I did live shows that I don't now. Now I'm so ready to just get back out there. I'm probably going to be a lot different towards the audience than I was before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it's changed me. My perspective towards the audience has probably changed.
Right.
That's
so
awesome.
that's what I would say.
And I think people are so anxious to get out there and listen to live music. They're going out, a lot more than they used to. I mean, there's
I
so
miss
much
public concerts in those
enthusiasm.
towns, man. Like that stuff was great when they would come out and play out in the town parks and stuff. Like
Right.
they don't do it as much.
Right. No. Well, I think people are still a little bit nervous and stuff, but people that go to the bars around here,
Yeah.
we are so happy to be out. We don't care about any of that stuff, and
So-
we're just happy to be there.
Man.
Right.
Wow.
hmm
Have you
So
guys
does-
written a lot? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Charles.
I was just going to ask a fun question just because I'm that type of person. But I just want to know from both of you, what first got you guys involved in making music and going out there?
You want to go first? Or me?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
So Rob is the musician. He's the one who's been playing for many years with many bands. And when I met him, the night I met him, he was singing. So I knew right away he had a good voice.
Blind singer.
Yep. And he's like, I don't know, maybe he's, bragging a little bit, but he's like, I don't suck. And I was like, okay, let me see, let me listen to it, And I've always been like a church singer, karaoke kind of person, but I've always been really good at harmony. So when I met him, and I'm like, oh, I like his music, and I think
good
I
at
can
listening.
harmonize.
I'm good at listening.
That's a lot of fun. What'd you say, Stephen?
I said I'm good at listening.
Yeah, we need those people.
So,
Yeah. So we started figuring out how we could play together.
Wow.
Because at first it wasn't apparent. I was like, okay, you're really good. I'm okay. How are we going to make this work?
right.
And I just got better and more confident and figured out where we matched.
And I like to think that I inspired her.
You did. And I inspired him to play some country.
Yeah.
Now,
What
do you
country-
guys mostly cover music, or are you doing
All
All
Cover
cover
music.
music. All cover
all
songs.
covers?
Yeah.
All
I
right,
wish
cool.
we could say we write, but we don't.
No.
Maybe we should hook up with a writer.
We would love to have a writer that wants
No.
his voice because he's, got a good one. But he is really good at covers, and he does them a little bit different than the original. But most of the time, it's neat to hear what he does with it because he
Wow.
can beat anyone. It's really fun to listen to. Like, how are you going to do this guy, this guy, this guy? Oh wow, it all sounds like you.
I can
Do you
imagine
do
it
a lot
being
of impersonations? Go ahead.
I did
I think
put
there's
my
a
own
lag. Sorry.
flavor. I put my own flavor on things. She's right. I do. I try to be an artist about it. I'm not a jukebox. I want to put my own flavor on things and still maintain the integrity of the song. But
Mhm.
but yes, that's
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
my take. That's my perspective on how I like to do cover songs.
He likes to stay in the original key if possible. and-
Always, if possible, always.
Right. And I'm like, no, if you need to change keys, go ahead. He's like, nope, can't do it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing,
Oh.
though, that you guys have that chemistry to work together on something so creative and so artistic. Because I can see myself bumping heads. So
We do sometimes, believe me.
It happens.
It happens. And at first, when we've been married for almost 6 years
Almost 6 years, yeah.
now. And when we first started playing, I mean, we were not even married yet. And so we've been playing for a long time. And at first I was a little bit intimidated and all that. And then I got better and better at saying, no, I think I should do this. And now I figure out the harmony because he can't really help me. He can help me a little bit, but he's like, you just got to do what fits. I'm like, okay. And then when I started playing the drum, it's like, that's my signature now, is that I'm working with him on doing the beats. And then he's able to, sound even better.
So we're excited to hear what you guys.
Yeah, bring it on.
All right. So you guys want some Eagles first or what?
Yeah, let's start off with the Eagles song, okay?
All right.
So here we go. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. We're just
You'll
going
know.
to go on into it here. Well, I've been running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got everything on my mind. Oh, they want to hold me too. They want to show me fun. She's a friend of mine. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. There's a girl, my lord, in a black backboard, going down and take a look at me. Now, come on, baby, don't say baby. I gotta know your sweet love is gonna save me. We may lose and we may win, though we may never be here again. So open up, I'm climbing in. So take it easy. No, we got it easy. Oh, you know we got it easy.
Woo!
Whoa! I wish
Good
I
job,
could
Ray.
sing, man. That was awesome.
Pretty cool.
That was
Getting a lot of
man.
getting a lot of love over here. A lot of people are loving it.
Oh yeah, I can't see anything. So maybe I need to. Is there comments I can look at or something?
Yeah, once the
There we go. I
it's,
see it.
it's live now. It's going on different pages, so you might not see all the comments at once.
Yeah, and they
Take
all
it
show up
easy.
in different
Somebody
amounts.
says, "Love them. Take it easy." Josephine, thank you.
People
Yeah,
love
that
Are
was
it.
we coming through? Are we coming through loud enough, boys?
Oh yeah, it's
Oh, that
coming
was
through
great,
good.
man.
It's coming
That
through
was
Coming
great.
through
smooth.
good.
Benny says,
I
"What's
started
the
to bring
tab?"
my little mini PA up here to
We don't
just
need
so
it.
we could get a little bit more dynamic sound. But I figured, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a small little
It's
thing
good.
here. All right, you guys want to hear Southern Cross?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
this is one of our newest songs, so that's why I like it.
All right.
All right, so here we
we'll
go.
ahead and-
Somebody asked what. Oh,
Got out of town on a for the Southern Islands, sailing the reach for a following sea. She was making for the trades on the outside, at the downhill run to Upper Haiti. On this wind, on this heading line, the Monday says. We got 80 feet of the waterline, nice and making way in the north bar and never let a cry for you. But on a midnight watch, I realized why twice you ran away. Think about how many times I had a phone rolling. Spirits are using me, Lord, your voice is calling. What happened on you and me cannot be forgot. I'll tell When you see the Southern Cross for the first time, understand now why you came this way. Because the truth you might be running from is so small, but it's as big as a promise of a coming day. So I'm sailing for tomorrow, my dreams are dying. My love is an anchor tied to you, tied with a silver chain. I have my ship and all of things are dying. It is all that I have left, and music is her name. Think about how many times I have fallen. Spirits are using me, Lord, your voice is calling. What heaven brought you and me cannot be forgotten. I've been around, I have been around the world, looking for that woman, girl, who knows she knows, who knows love getting low, and you know it will, you know it will. So we cheated and we lied and we trusted, and we never failed to fail. It was the easiest thing to do. You will survive being invested. Somebody fine will come along, make me forget about loving you in the Southern Cross. In the Southern Cross.
I thought I had my harmonica, but I can't find it.
Your heart.
Not that I can play that one. Yeah, that was
So,
really
yeah.
good.
I mean, we play 2 or 3 hour shows, so I mean, if you guys want another one, we could do it. But if you want to just talk for a while, we could do that too.
Hey,
We also know the iconic Hotel California. If you want to do that at the end.
Okay,
I
so
think that's a good closeout song. Yeah,
that's a good closeout. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's
we'll do that. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
We're enjoying it.
So
Thank you.
tell us a little bit more about like because I know in addition to the music, you also do teaching as well, right?
I do teaching, yes. He used to teach guitar. That's the extent his teaching is. But I'm the teacher here. I teach this fun stuff.
Okay.
Oh wow.
You wrote
this
book?
SAT.
SAT. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Did you
And
write
then
that book?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
And I also do like language arts or ESL. So this is a book I use for ESL learners. So do you guys know, there's a big difference between ship and sheep. So, and there's other words that are very important not to say wrong in English. So those are a lot of
It
fun.
sounds
to
a
talk
lot like
about.
sheep and ship.
Yeah. That we don't want to say on air. We
Goes
like
the
to go
same
to
in
the
German
beach,
too.
not the girl that you don't like. So yeah, beach is better. You smile when you say it.
So what is your musical process like? Like when you guys are think about doing a cover, how does that roll out? You guys just like, listen, this song inspires me, let's make this song, or do what you know kind of thing?
Well, no, I'll get inspired by a song, and that's usually how it starts. And then I'll go up on YouTube and I'll see what others have done, how they've done the covers, how I'll listen to the studio version of it, and then after that I'll go to guitar tabs, open the guitar tabs, and I'll download the the guitars with the chord, the lyrics with the chords, and I'll just start working on it. But I mean, that's usually the process. I'll get inspired. I'll go on YouTube. I'll listen to it. Then I'll download it for myself till I can learn it. And then I'll just start working on it, and just do it till I'm sick of it, basically.
There might be songs that are like sentimental to him. Like when he was younger, he listened to this
There
song,
are
and
some,
we're the
yeah.
same age,
There are
so we
some.
remember a lot of these older songs, 80s, 70s, 80s.
I'm just
So
old
we live
fashioned,
in
so I
the
like
90s.
the same music.
Yeah, exactly. So he knows everything. We know everything from like Operator, Jim Croce, all the way up to like, Ed Sheeran, and John Mayer and stuff like
Do you
that.
guys do like weddings and things like that as well?
We could,
No,
but we never have.
don't. We haven't yet.
We know "Thinking Out Loud" by Ed Sheeran. That's a great romantic song.
That
No.
Mhm.
We're,
So there's
Yeah.
that's a interesting. You guys want to throw us another hit at us?
you want us to
People-
do that one?
The audience they were requesting more songs. They said they love
yeah,
it.
dude, that was awesome.
First time here. You got people listening from Missouri.
And-
Oh, wow.
It's great.
And where are you guys from? Just real quick.
We are in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Raleigh,
Wow.
North Carolina.
Yep. So that's where we are.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah,
So-
where are you guys? You're in New York?
We're in
We
New York.
are About 2 hours north of the city, smack dab in the middle of the woods.
We're in the beautiful Catskill Mountains.
Awesome.
It is beautiful up here. I'll
Rob
give you
lived
that.
in New York for 2 years. Where did you live?
Elmira.
Oh yeah, so you're close to. I'm originally from Buffalo, so you're out that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a little outside my territory.
Yeah, he was younger, and his dad got a job, and then 2
Much-
years later they moved back to Raleigh.
Much younger, about 12 or 13.
Yeah, much
I'm
younger.
assuming
Yeah.
you got
Way
that
back.
accent later on in life.
He never took that New York accent on.
Not,
Which I
not
think-
really, not at all. I retained my North Carolina accent.
He does say, since I'm a girl, a word girl, I'll hear him say things like huge instead of huge. And
My brother-in-law is Cuban, and he's married to a teacher. Similar
and other
situation.
things that are kind of funny sometimes, and but I don't know. I think it's from his dad, because his dad is from where? West Virginia?
Virginia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Virginia. So his dad is much more country.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Just to ask a fun question. If you guys were to open for any band, who would it be?
Oh, golly.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh,
You say yours, and I'll say mine.
I don't know. Maybe Peter Frampton, maybe.
Oh, that's-
We saw Peter Frampton. We played one of his songs. We went to his concert. We were inspired to do "Baby, I Love Your Way,"
oh,
but
wow.
that's the only one I
That's
really
a good
know.
song.
So you thought I was going to say the Eagles, didn't you?
No,
I love
was
the
actually-
Eagles.
I was actually curious to see what you would say. I wasn't sure.
I
Yeah.
love the Eagles.
Way before the Eagles. I mean, Vince Gill. Okay, so I love Vince Gill and his voice. And guess what? He was with the Eagles for a while, and he did a really good job with that. And I was amazed that they could intersect like that.
That was very cool.
No.
Well, it's like when you saw another what were some of the really unconventional ones that we saw over the past 10 years, like Jay-Z with Linkin Park. It was like, what
Right.
is- and then it sounded good. It was like, whoa.
Right. Well, Tim McGraw, who's country, did one with Nelly, and that was kind of like a hip hop
Yeah.
kind of thing. We've seen
Over and over again.
exactly. You got it, man.
Yeah, I remember that
And
one.
that was a good one. And then we've seen Taylor Swift with all number of people,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
being all hardcore and stuff. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
fun. Crossroads and all those intersections.
And Kid Rock also getting more serious with his music and stuff. I'm like, wow, wait, you're the same Kid Rock that I grew up with? 'Cause-
Right. Because I like him
Sound like
now. I don't
Yeah.
think I liked him back then.
Well, yeah, Kid Rock now is full blown country.
He's actually a musician now.
Tyler.
he embraced.
Even Tyler.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
he's got some country stuff. And Liv Tyler, what she no, there was another. I like watching daughters and sons of those stars that we grew up with playing music. It's a lot of fun.
yeah.
So
I didn't know this, but Liv Tyler was I saw her on one of my favorite shows, The Leftovers. And she's really, it's really interesting how these celebrities. It's kind of I guess art and music is it's in their
Mhm.
blood,
It
Does it
is.
matter?
It's like their lineage or something.
Absolutely.
In your own
Radio
families, have you ever has it like had passed down? Is it something that you believe was like genetic or?
Well, my granddad played banjo, and my uncle played
That's a hard
guitar.
instrument.
Yeah, and they actually, my uncle almost got signed to a Nashville label back in the day and they almost became famous. He was this close, and but my granddad was with him. My granddad didn't want to leave his family to go be famous with my uncle, so my uncle didn't pursue it. But yeah, I have some relatives that they're very musical. They were so. Yeah.
And his mom and dad didn't help him when he was young.
No, my parents weren't
Musical
my
at
musical
all.
influence really at all.
Mhm.
It was more like my granddad, my uncle, and my more distant relatives were more musical than my parents were. So
Right.
they definitely, yeah. We had some good talent in my family on my dad's side.
I sometimes
Wow.
seems to think it almost like skipped a generation too, or it like
Yeah.
or
Well, it
it,
might have skipped. It might
or
have.
not skip it, but like it definitely gets passed down because like my aunt, like
Mhm.
she's an artist, I'm an artist, like
Mhm.
but
Right.
my sisters
Right.
they're like not so much. They're creative, but
Right.
not super artists. But
It's really important to find your art. It's important to find what you're good at. Find your creativity. Find your muse, whatever you want to call it. Because I like art of many kinds. I'm a closet artist or whatever you want to say. I like to, paint things for like paint and design or whatever. And my brother-in-law, his brother, twin brother, is a really good painter. He paints amazing things. We have his art all over our house.
Yeah.
But he does everything from crazy, like stuff to like more realistic, and he likes the
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
I-
But he helped me make one painting, and it's beautiful, and I love it. It's a girl with an umbrella with all kinds of shades of orange and brown, and it's just beautiful. It's like my favorite thing I've ever done, and he helped me do it.
Wow.
now
He's
if
quite
somebody if somebody wanted to start out in like getting into doing a band, like what advice would you give them starting out? Like what would you tell them not to waste their money on, and what would be worth investing in, kind of a thing? Because I know for photography, I wasted a crap ton of money on a bunch of equipment that I didn't need.
Right.
I'd say invest your money on a really good guitar in the beginning. Don't buy a crappy one, and buy a nice one. Because, I mean, even if you don't stay interested in it, I mean, obviously you can sell it. But if you do, then you can grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Because when I started out playing, that's what I did. I spent more money probably on instruments than I probably should have, but I grew into them over time.
Like, can you get by?
Because I
with
knew
it, like, on
I
an
knew I
amp,
would
or-
stay. I knew I would stay in it. I knew I would. I had no doubt that I would.
Nice.
That's
stay.
his first face right there.
Well, yeah.
You can't really see it, but
It's this one. Looks like that. It's a Warwick,
Nice.
and he's had
Nice.
that for
and
over
I paid
10
about
years.
$800 for this when I couldn't even play a bass at all. But I wanted a good one. It didn't matter what my skill level was, because I knew that I would keep playing it, and I would get better and better, and I would become worthy of this instrument.
That's a good.
Now, do you read music as well, or do you play by ear?
I play by ear.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
All by ear. I can't read music at all. I could have probably learned. Obviously, it's kind of funny because my dad can read music, but he can't play by ear. He
Or
can't play. He can't play or sing, but he knows how to read music because he was in a high school band. But I just learned everything by ear, and
That's when I
pick it up.
learned, but I forgot it all. So like I
Pick it all up
even
by
though I
ear.
have a basic understanding of like all good boys eat cake or whatever the thing is, I don't remember which one sounds like what. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Right. Greg Wolf has a comment here. A good guitar will get you farther than any $1,000 car.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, you can buy a car with a good guitar.
Yeah. Do you want a guitar
You can.
or do you want a car?
You can make enough money to buy you one.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing.
of course, he's bought cars even cheaper than his guitars. He bought a $450 Audi, and I drive it now, and I love it because he's fixed everything on it. So you never know. And money is not really relative. It's whatever the price.
$450 Audi.
A friend of mine at work was selling it because I had a blown head gasket and he didn't want to fix it, so he sold it to me cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Actually, I got it for $400.
Right, because the windshield was cracked and you took $50 off.
Yeah, I got it for $400, and I fixed everything was wrong with it, which was quite a few things.
That's pretty
So-
sweet.
So that's his other good thing that he does.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Very well.
So-
Basically.
I was gonna say $400 Audi. Like, is it gonna blow up? That's
No,
awesome.
it's actually, the engine's in good shape.
Yeah,
It just had a blown head gasket. That's all.
this is one of the hardest jobs you
That's
could do
all.
as a mechanic.
That's all.
So don't tell him,
But it's okay.
not for the faint of
It's
heart to do
okay.
this job in your cul-de-sac. But he did it.
That's awesome.
So,
Do you guys
and
have-
he did it twice.
Do you guys have like a cover type album or anything like that we could look forward to in the future?
We have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is
channel.
the YouTube channel so that we could let
If
our
you
viewers?
look up Rob Philback Duo, you'll find us on YouTube.
Right, if you on Facebook, if you type in Rob Philback Duo, you'll find a bunch of she has put together compilations of different shows we've done,
Mhm.
and you'll find a bunch of our videos up there.
So
Awesome.
YouTube or Facebook. Mhm.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. A lot of people are messaging us asking if you guys could play another song. They're interested.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Do you guys want a slow one or a fast one?
Something upbeat.
Like a romantic one, like the one I talked about, Thinking Out Loud, or do you want to do like something faster? He can play like harder stuff, but not really with the acoustic guitar. So let's do Ed Sheeran for you guys.
All right, so some Ed Sheeran. It's some modern. Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah, something
We're like, it doesn't
little
matter,
more-
just play.
a little more current. So here we go. This is called Thinking Out Loud.
Thinking
Just
out loud.
imagine you're at a wedding.
My hands don't work like they used to before, and I can't speak all but the we are to remember the taste of my love. We are to smile for your shades, and darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart was simple as hard at 23. I'm thinking about how will people fall in love in mysterious ways. Baby, just a touch of my hand. Oh, me, I fall in love with you every single day. And I just want to tell you I am. So, baby, now, take me in your loving arms. Push me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. My hair's over gone, and my memory fades. I can't remember my name. My hands don't play the strings the same way. I know you will still love me the same. Darling, your soul will never grow old. It's evergreen. And baby, your smile's forever in my mind. Memory. Thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe it's all part of the plan. I'll continue making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand. But baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the lights of 1,000 stars. Place my head on your beating heart. Well, I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. So baby, now take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place my head on your beating heart. While I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. Maybe we found love right where we are. And yes, we found love right where we are.
Woo!
Hey!
Bravo!
Yeah.
Thanks.
That was awesome, guys.
People are loving it.
We have to do that one more often and practice it some more.
It was
Hey,
good.
man, that was cool. That was really
Takes
cool.
I hear that. All right.
Okay, good.
So,
Mr. G, that's why.
The website or the YouTube channel, somebody asked me to look it up. Greg over here, he's like, what is, because I know the internet is notorious for not sounding good when you are trying to play a song. Because I've tried so hard on YouTube to find something that people can listen to and have, you know, and it doesn't translate. I listen to a video like that I recorded and it's like sounds terrible and choppy. I'm like, man, it sounded good when I was playing it.
Okay, just
So yeah, I understand. All right, so let me look and see. Why don't you guys ask us another question?
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's the thing we all understand. Like it's just the compression with the internet when you do live music, but it sounds great. People are loving it. You know, for the most part, what kind of events do you like to play?
well, mostly just bar gigs.
Yeah.
Not really an event per se, just shows. You know, I just like to get out there. I tell you what I do like. I like to play private parties quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's actually I like that more than playing bar gigs.
And like you guys like playing like
parties.
having an audience that's like interactive, or do you like them just like you want people up and
We
dancing?
love
I like some interaction.
We
Yeah,
love it.
I
We
like
love to have
interaction.
interaction.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't like people to just sit there. I like some interaction.
And for, you know, going back to like somebody, because I know a lot of people who want to start bands, but they haven't like actually done it yet. What's like a good way to, like, what have you found is the best way to promote yourself? Just getting out there, getting online like we're doing now? Like what strategy have you guys used?
Playing open mics.
Yeah.
No.
We do a lot of open mics. Now we do a lot.
And obviously getting out there and talking to people and getting to know the bar owners and the club owners and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're good, they'll invite you back.
So you guys don't seem like the type to have stage fright, since you guys are open to the world right now performing. But do you guys ever feel like that type of like, man, I got to get out in front of this group of people and perform and sing, or just natural?
I'll tell you,
I used to feel that way.
if it's somewhere that I've never played before and it's new and the band is relatively new, I might get a little nervous. Yeah, I might get some butterflies if I've never played there before and it's you know, and I don't have a lot of experience with the guys I'm playing with. Then yeah, I get nervous about that. But that's about it.
What's
Yeah.
the craziest thing that's ever happened on one of your shows?
Our equipment doesn't work, or we don't have a
Well-
chord, or maybe we do. Oh, his guitar stopped in the middle of a song,
Well,
and he like lost his battery, and so I had to go all the way home and get another guitar and bring it
yeah,
back
one of
and to play.
my guitars just
While I was gone.
the wiring came loose and the wiring in the system broke in it, and it just quit all of a sudden, just like that.
Oh wow, that sucks.
Oh man,
Yeah, it kind of did.
you guys
No,
should
you
do
know-
some live
Rush home.
concerts.
She had to rush home and very fast and grab another one for me. So
It happens to all of us. I feel like anybody that does like either music or if they're doing photography or something, we've all been in circumstances where the equipment is faulty at the time, and then
Filmed a commercial and there was no sound.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it
Oh, yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
it does happen. I mean, it's only happened one time that I had an epic fail like that, but that's it. just that one time. I mean, that was it.
Other
least it
times
was-
it's easily fixable.
I mean, at least it was at a bar. You could at least get yourself a drink to.
It wasn't.
Actually,
it was at
we
the
were playing at a
museum.
museum.
Oh, at a
It
museum.
was a really
Oh,
nice setting,
An art-
and it was
we're playing
beautiful.
we're
And I'm like,
playing an art-
man,
Yeah, in an art museum
right?
at
Wow.
the time, and it was a very high profile type show,
Yeah.
but it was okay. It was
I
all
mean,
right.
obviously it is what it
happened.
is, but
It
yeah.
was all right.
Yeah. I mean, every artist has been through something like that in some way or other.
Right, right.
But you went out there. Your wife saved the day for you, Rob.
She did actually.
Yeah.
She did save the day.
I
She
did.
did.
30 minutes later, here I am with a new
Uh-huh.
guitar.
Right.
Wham bam.
Oh
thank you.
man, I've had to learn a lot, like what guitar lingo is. Like, oh, I need this or I need that. Just like car lingo, there's a whole language that you need to know about this stuff. So yeah, I've needed to help him with that stuff.
How do you guys come up with a playlist when you guys are about to do a show? Like, what do you know is going to get this crowd hype pumping?
We start off with something fast, like Take It Easy. There's another one that we used to play all the time at the beginning. Brown Eyed Girl. We play that a lot.
Ooh, that's
That
a
gets
really
the-
good one.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I try to hit him with something relatively high energy at first to kind of grab him. I mean, high energy songs, high up tempo acoustic songs. So we play all acoustic music.
Hmm.
So up tempo stuff. I don't want to, play anything draggy in the beginning. I want to keep them. I want to get them interested. I want to get them hooked and keep them hooked. So I might do a whole set of nothing but up tempo songs in the beginning, and then I may shift gears after that. But yeah,
We are not one of those bands that plays a bunch of dance music.
no,
That's
no,
good, 'cause
I mean,
not
it's
every
all-
place requires that.
no.
Right.
It's all acoustic rock, classic rock songs,
Mhm.
mainly.
Yeah.
That's
I used to do a lot of
but
like,
right now anyway. I mean, it may change in the future, but right now that's what it is.
yeah, I used to do a lot of like massaging the list and going, okay, we have 10 songs here. Are they all good and they're all in the right order? Now I'm like, okay, let's just play whatever we want.
Yeah, I think I
It
feel like
changes.
that's how you get the best. The best is when it's random. I really what
Mhm.
bothers me is a lot of
Mhm.
I'm a big like I'm a big I love going to concerts and following artists sometimes. And I was really disappointed. I love Goo Goo Dolls. They do a lot of acoustic songs. And I
Yeah.
followed them to a few different venues one year. And they played the same exact set list every night.
Right.
I'm like, man, what about the fans like me who are going to follow you from city to city? And
Right.
you have such a giant catalog of music.
You should
Right.
feel privileged to be there.
Yeah, I guess they play the same songs in the same order. I just don't know how they do it. I feel like
But that's
the
like
most.
comedians too, who give the exact same bit every time. You're like,
Right.
really?
Well, see, now
Come
you're making me think about my answer a little bit more. But yeah, we try not to hit them with the same show every time. We try to, I mean, we try to vary it up a little, and we try to play songs that will appeal to different age groups.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to play too many classic rock songs because the younger people might not appreciate so much. We try to play some stuff that's current.
How do you deal
some
with
stuff
difficult crowds?
We haven't had any.
Well,
Maybe we've had one or what do you
how
think?
do I deal with it? I don't know. Kill them with kindness, I guess.
That's not his usual, but I will believe it. Have you ever gotten an insult? Like somebody heckling you or anything?
Sort of. I have actually.
I'm sorry, I'm a
Yeah.
Mr. Maker.
You are.
No,
Stefan loves it. Stefan always
But
likes to
not-
hit the interview
but not
with the
not
questions.
with her.
Right.
When we played together, there was everything pretty much went smoothly. Nobody, we didn't have any hard fans.
Should I tell them the story about Real McCoy?
Yes.
Well, I caused that.
I know.
Yeah.
The only time we've
You're
ever had
fine.
a negative reaction was when Rob stuck his middle finger up during a
Well,
song,
you don't have to say that.
and we were not asked back.
Well, my band was.
Worse things have happened.
He was in the moment. Let the rock star
Exactly.
let the
Well,
rock star
Yeah.
live a little bit.
No bar fights. No.
Right.
no bar fights.
I was really feeling the
It
song.
was half of a peace sign.
That would have been better if I'd have done that instead. But definitely would have been better than what I did.
But we've
Oh,
had
man.
people say, "Man, you're so good," and blah blah blah, and then, but then the people don't ask us back. I'm like, okay, if we're that good, then why aren't we coming back? So there's ins and outs of all this stuff, and he's been with bands and he's better than any of the guys there, and then they're like, well, we're going a different direction, and I'm like, how can you guys not work with him? So I mean, bands are mercurial in the way they treat their members sometimes, and if you have a really good band, you're going to stay together a long time. That's a feat. It's like a marriage. It's there's so many personalities, and they're all artistic and temperamental, and it's hard to keep a band together
That's true.
Yeah.
if you have a big one.
That is
So
How
two of us, we're married. I think we're going to stay together.
true. Good thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what I was saying earlier on in the conversation, that it's great that you guys have chemistry to do something that you both love. And you guys, honestly, what you guys are doing is you're sharing your passions with everybody. And to me, like, music is therapy.
It
yeah.
cheered me the hell up. That's for sure.
You know what I mean? It makes me happy. It puts me in a totally different mood. You guys are sharing your gifts with everybody. So
Yeah,
tonight
I believe that too.
people are loving it, and
Mhm.
we really appreciate you guys for doing this for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
Stefan, if
Thank
you want to write it in the chat, you can write the name of the band, the
Yep.
Rob Philback Duo, so people can, because I just went onto YouTube and I just wrote that in, and I came up with all the videos that we do, and there's some compilation videos. We did one outside, and I called
Those
it
are-
a mini concert.
right.
You can look at like two
Those are,
minutes of each song,
those are the ones people need to watch. The compilation videos are the best ones
right?
that we've done. Some of the best stuff.
And
Where
it's also right in the title of the show as well. So if you just go right up to the title,
Just look.
Yes.
And and I have like a whole playlist of Rob Philback Duo and Rob Philback Demo. Now the demos are not with me; they're with other people.
right.
So you can watch him do other stuff.
okay.
All right. It's awesome. Well, we look for we will definitely promote it out there. We also created an ad the other night. We're gonna put it around everywhere. So, yep,
Yes.
Stefan just posted it up. So sweet. So listen, we're gonna if you guys want to do your final
Yeah,
song
close us
and
out with
close us out
Let's
with
do our
the
final song.
All right.
All right, you guys ready for this one?
We're ready. We're waiting. Excited.
I know, right?
Bring it
2,
on.
3. rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, saw shimmering lights. A echo heavy in my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. Left you in the doorway. I heard the mission bell. I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven, this could be hell. When she lit up a candle, and she showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor that I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Now I'm living up at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Her mind is tripping and twisted. She got the Mercedes Benz. She got a lot of pretty boys. She calls friends. How they dance in the courtyard. Sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget. So I called up the captain. I said, please bring me my wine. We haven't had that spirit here since 1969. And still those voices are calling from far away to wake you up in the middle of the night. Just to hear them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Now they're living up at the Hotel California. What a nice surprise, what a nice surprise. The alibis, mirrors on the ceiling, the big champagne on ice. And she said, we are all just prisoners here of our own device. In their master's chambers, they gather for the feast. Stabbing with their stealing knives, but they just can't get the peace. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find a passage back to the place I was before. Relax in the night and be off program. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Living up at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here.
Awesome, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Awesome.
All right.
It's been a pleasure having you guys on. This was really wonderful.
It was good having you guys, man.
There's
Great
many
to see
ways
you.
to check out.
And I don't know if I mentioned this. We actually met through Elena's group, Transform.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow.
So one of our previous guests is actually how we got connected. So
Yeah,
It's amazing how small the world is. Everybody's connected.
right.
Yep.
Well, I got to know him somehow, right, for me to be on his show. So, it's kind of cool to keep your bridges clear and open. And, even if we never worked together or helped each other, at least this is cool. It's,
Yep.
I like what he does and he, likes what I do. We respect each other as entrepreneurs and, this is an awesome thing. And my husband drags, I drag him along sometimes in this kind of stuff.
you got some
Play
skills
with
there.
me. It is the Laurel and Rob duo. So, I let him play.
Right.
You guys are wonderful. So thank you guys so much for joining us
Thanks for coming
tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's been
Great.
fun. And well, if you ever want us again, just let us know.
Definitely.
Will do.
Thank you.
Awesome,
All right,
guys.
Stefan.
Have a great
Talk
night.
to you later, Charles. Nice to meet you.
You guys
Nice
too,
to
man.
meet you.
Good
All
luck.
right.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So thank you
Sounds
guys
cool.
for watching this episode of the Thursday Exchange.
Exchange.
This was a very first. We had live music, people.
That
Live
was a nice surprise,
music.
man.
It was a
That
surprise
nice
for us.
surprise.
It was pretty darn awesome and fantastic. So until next time, and remember, people, the Catskill International Film Festival is counting down. We are less than a month away to the free event. What I'm telling you guys to do now is to plan your watch parties. Get the popcorn, get the music, get the comfy blankets, invite all your friends and family, social distance, wear a mask if you'd like,
Bring your
but
neckies.
have fun. It is free at CatskillFilmFest.com. Keep on watching. Next week's episode is going to be something.
It's gonna be interesting.
Have a good one.
All right,
Peace out.
later. Bye.
Love everybody.